everyone, and welcome back to Wunu, your weekly Universal news and updates. Yes, I am back, and I'm happy that you are too. Now that I've taken my first break since starting YouTube, I'm feeling refreshed and ready to go with all of this week's updates in hand, and I've cooked up a little something special for what I missed last week. So let's quit stalling and get into all of my Universal Orlando changes. Okay, so as I mentioned in the intro, I missed my upload last week, but I still wanted to provide you with all of last week's updates, so I made a little something that I hope you'll enjoy. Also, I know it's not the best. Please don't go crazy or anything on me in the comments. I did my best for this. Okay, so I wasn't here last week, but I did all the research I normally do for my updates, and I have to get that across to you quickly, so I figured why not have some fun with it? So where to start? I guess I'll begin with construction. To take a look at a ride who's opening me quite the commotion, the VelociCoaster. Ride is in its construction prime time, and this week on the perimeter fence they added some lights. Plus you can even see some wires on the fence that surround the site, showing that Uni's gonna have this entire thing bright. Taking a step back so we can look under the track to find that we had added something where there used to be a lack, and that is vegetation. And I can say without hesitation that this is a major help to the ride and way it is shaping. Plus on the same wall some other wires have been installed with these were on top of the fence to help it house its occupants, which even though they aren't actually real and are prehistoric, this place is starting to look like a place where a raptor would really flourish. Next, let's look back at what we're paneling this way just after final bend. This makes the structure look less like a cage and instead makes it look much more like a completed place. This ride is going to be the best, and this week they added nets. They were placed under the track by Hogsmeade and will be useful in many ways, catching coins, hat, pocket trash, and even your keys. Also this week was a happy accident when a VelociCoaster car was pulled over a track segment. The top cover in the car did a little slip, and we got a look at the paint job for it was quickly fixed. But that's not it, because some construction happened elsewhere in the parks. The Forbidden Journey lockers have been covered by more swimming tops, and even though it looks like this project hasn't gotten far, doing things like this and making them look good is actually pretty hard. So that's it for construction. Looking at our next topic, it's a completely different section. Bringing us all of our favorite burgers and shakes. How many food updates can you take? Some new cookies came to the Island Market and Export. They're seasonal and huge and raising brand new resource. In the skeleton bars and drinks didn't make it that far because the circus peanut that was reviewed by Versus and Memphis Error got replaced this week by a drink called Vampire's Curse. Let's hope this one will help the uni not hurt. Next we can look at some restaurant hours because this week we seem to have Leonard Steve Rogers powers. Yes, this Captain America diner has changed. It's only open on Saturdays and Sundays, but Marvel Land has some other food we adore. So let's look at what's changed in Cafe 4. This restaurant now has some dividers over tables that made plexiglass, so there are more places for their guests to crash after going to Hope and having a blast. Last for restaurants is another seating arrangement. Outside of blocked off areas by food, there's been plant placement. So if you're sitting outside eating burgers and fries, you'll know that you and your food are safe from people's prying eyes. But if you want to know, we do want prying eyes, it's on Uni's merchandise line. And Uni knows what to do and how to make fly, taking from her pockets our every single last dime. Well, this week, Uni has opened up their merchandise stores by giving a major update to the online store. Why don't we start with the prize of an entire line? And what line do you ask? Why, it's the Hogwarts Illumini. The store now has hats, tumblers, sweatshirts, and keychains, plus pins, t-shirts, and don't forget the photo frames. Don't forget it's also got water bottles and mugs, coasters, bags, vouchers, banners, something for everyone. But that's not it. Uni added online. They also added merch that's all about how the wizards fly. In fact, that's where the entire line of merch starts. It includes shirts, bags, tumblers, hats, and pins, and keychains. All of this new merch is enough to drive a pot ahead insane. I can tell you that this fact the series has drilled into my brain. Going back to the virtual world, I got a message from a little bird. You want to know what he told me? He said new items were added on randomly. We now have Toothless Keychains, three new kinds of masks to be used by people with brains, new plushes and lanyards, and that's all I've got. Jeez, that was new merch sure was a lot. But hold on to your butts because that's not all, because we have seasonal updates even though it's only fall. Island Trading Co. and Mulberry Street selling entire Christmas haul that also includes some of those tiny balls. What are they called? Oh yeah, ornaments. And those retro ones, I can't get enough of it. You have to go Back to the Future, Jaws, Kong, and E.T. All amazing rides, open or not if you ask me. Also in the retro field, you can get the 90 feel with these new Jaws and Back to the Future hats they have revealed. I'd say that this is a big deal as it feels the last time we got a new hat was at least a year. Speaking of a new year, you want to know what's happening now in 2019? Universal Scary and Bloody Celebration of Halloween. And we have merch for that this year, too. So let's take a look at Horror Inc. to see what's new. New prints have come out that include Monster Dadster, Bride of Frankenstein, and Uni Monsters. Jack the Clown, #1 fan since, and Chucky. All that leaves me with is something no one wants to hear, which is a price raise on that so your pockets will be cleared. Prices used to be 1 for $6 or 4 for $20, and now they've been raised up plenty. $20 will now only get you 3, and a single mask will get you $8. Blimey! Next, what's new is a topic where I have very few. This topic, why it's general news. This week in Springfield, cast members could get guests to yield. They were giving out tickets for trying to get a feel for the carnival games that they have. If you won the game, there was no reward because you didn't pay, and Uni would be short on the profits of what theme parks are all about. So no worry to scream or shout. You just won't be getting that plush you want to brag about. Also this week came back some things that have been closed, like the water blasters on water rides used to soak people's clothes. But if you don't want to pay, there are other ways to play, as new meet and greets have shown up just outside of Hogsmeade. In the Lost Continent, you can find Po from Kung Fu Panda, so if you have a Po obsession similar to a minion and a banana, I'd say stop in and get a photo of him when you can. So all of my last topics are quite sweet and short, so I combined them into one to make this one topic out of 4. So just listen to the random crap that I have, and hopefully it will make sense and be a good part of the wrap. This week I have something good to report. It's that the wait time for the houses were relatively short. This is quite a nice change, as the lines recently have been standing in the multi-hour range. Also this week, some nearby stations got some love, it seems, as they added giant signs like the ones in NYC. Finally, for what I have this week is a new window in Hollywood, dedicated to Mardi Gras float makers. If anyone should get it, they should. So that's all that I have for this rap. Tell me in the comments if you think it was complete trash, or if my rapping skills and lyric writing skills bash. So what do you think? That rap was a lot of fun to make, and I think that it serves its purpose of telling all the updates of the week. Anyways, like I said in the song, tell me what you thought of it in the comments section, because to be perfectly honest, I had no clue what I was doing the entire time I was writing it. But let's get on with the normal video now that all of that is done, and I can't really think of another way to start than by diving into our first topic. What's that? This week we're starting with food and restaurants? Well, yes, actually, because this week it's my biggest topic to cover. And this week, starting us out are some terrifying treats. In the Halloween Horror Nights food trucks, we have seen some menu swapping. The Stolen Teeth street corn were replaced earlier this week by electro-fried skin and guts. If you don't already know, these are pork rind nachos. But this food selection would also be replaced later in the week when the Stolen Teeth street corn will retake its throne at the top slot of the food truck's menu. You can't get rid of it that easily. Also, continuing the spooky seasonal treats is that in the Islands Market and Export, some new candy corn and chocolate candy corn fudge selections have now become available. These, with the jumbo cookies that were added last week, are really making the Islands Market and Export look like a Halloween Horror Nights candy shop. Finally, for scary good food is some not so good news. The food part of the Skeleton Bar in Cafe La Bamba is now only open on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. The bar part is still open all week, but if you want some jacked up mac or s'mores fries, you are going to have to go on Friday or the weekend. Next, let's look at some places that have reopened this week to help with the raising crowd levels that Universal has been experiencing recently. Though only on the weekends, 2 food locations in Islands of Adventure opened up this week that were previously closed. They are Kathy's Ice Cream in Toon Lagoon and Doc Sigru's Dessert Kebab Stand in the Lost Continent. Though the ice cream store just sells the normal sweets selections, it's great to see that the kebabs that I believe can only be found in Doc Sigru's stand are back in the parks. While we are in the Lost Continent, why not take a look at the next food update that I have, which is that outside of Fire Eater's Grill this week, some fences were put along the main path to the house to house the queue for the restaurant and stop it from getting in the way of the flow of traffic that is already quite a lot with the amount of people that have been in the parks recently. But some other slightly smaller things changed in Uni's food world too. One of these things is that in the Thunder Falls Terrace in Jurassic Park Island, plexiglass dividers similar to the ones that go over the tables in Cafe 4 in the previous week have appeared. And finally, for my food updates is a price raise. It seems that Universal has caught on that people like their crepes, as this week the prices on most of the crepes went up by $1. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they go up more. If people keep buying, Uni's going to keep supplying. But speaking of supplying, let's take a look at something that is always supplying us with curiosity and excitement in our next topic. Construction. So this week's construction is not as long as most other weeks that I have this topic. But with some of the stuff that happened at the site of the VelociCoaster this week, the updates were just too important to push to the end of the video. So over the past couple of weeks, actually I think now it's been over the past couple months, we've been seeing the cars going through pool testing. But this week, Uni has finally taken the big step and actually properly tested the ride. Yes, the VelociCoaster did a proper test of the second launch over the top hat, and boy does it look awesome. It's great to finally see the car going through the track, and hopefully the test will be the first of many that needs to be done in order to open the ride. So pulling myself away from the excitement of the testing starting, I can now go see the other additions to the site this week. There were only actually 2 changes that I found on the site, the first being a water feature. On the rockwork that all of the scrim and scaffolding was removed from, I believe it was now 2 weeks ago, we have seen this week a waterfall going down the side. I have no idea if this waterfall continued to run for the rest of the week or if they turned it off, but this is some functionality in the ride for sure. Finally, for the additions made to the site is that some tropical-looking trees and plants were placed all around it, giving it that true Costa Rican feel that is truly important when the movies the ride is based on literally take place in Costa Rica, or 120 miles west of it, at least. So that's actually all I've got this week for construction, but let's continue the trend of short sections in my next topic. General news. And this week I only have 2 updates to put in this section. The first of these is that the Revenge of the Mummy has made some social distancing changes this week. In the small sections that you stand in just before the ride starts, plexiglass barricades have been placed over the fences to help stop the spread of germs. It's good to see Uni taking these precautions, as COVID is just as real as the curses. The second of these updates is something that happened in a kind of cause and effect manner. This weekend, the parks hit capacity both days, just like the past couple of weeks. However, this week Universal added a path in between the 2 parks that could be used by guests to get from one park to another without having to wait for the Hogwarts Express or risk being locked out of the parks after leaving to go to the other one. The entrances to these paths were stationed by the quote-unquote secret entrance that is under Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket and behind Minion Mayhem for the Studios one, and in Seuss Landing on the island side. Told you that would be short, but in our next topic we cover what has a short amount of time left in it. Halloween Horror Nights Lights, or as I think they should call it, Halloween Horror Light. So this event is sadly nearing its last few weeks, and then we dive into Christmas. But before that happens, let's get some updates in. So this week we got a sort of sneak peek into the bride's house. It was not officially released by Universal Orlando, but some pictures were leaked that show us one of the scare actors and a design used in the house for Frankenstein's monster. But to do with the other house, Revenge of the Tooth Fairy, is a small update. Outside of the house, some signs with QR codes that link to the backstory of the house have gone up. So if you are waiting in the line and need something to do, maybe you can read up on the fairies that will freakishly pull out your tooth. Say what? That's all I've got on HHN. Well, I guess it's on to our next topic then. Sorry, I've still got some of the rhyme writing in me from making that rap. Wait, a new topic? Heck yeah! Well, kinda at least. Normally we would wish that Epic Universe Talk would be reserved for the construction part of the video. But since it's been postponed, this singular update gets to be in its own topic. My Epic Universe update is that this week we got some more concept art. I'm not sure what the source of this drawing is, as if Universal made it or not, but I'm pretty sure that it's officially by Universal Orlando. This concept art shows us an early draft of the barbecue restaurant that is going to be placed in the hub section of the park. But even though this unnamed restaurant looks cool, something in this photo caught the theme park community's eye. Over the trees in the background, you can see the tops of some uncolored buildings that with further inspection is where the speculated classic Monsters Land would be. Even though these buildings don't show us too much detail, we can make out Frankenstein's laboratory, Frankenstein's windmill, and a large show building that could house anything from a ride or a show to maybe a year-round haunted house. We really have no idea at this point, and remember, it's not even confirmed that Classic Monsters Land will be coming to Epic Universe, so don't get your hopes up too much until we have some more official announcements on this massive project. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea how to segue out of this, so let's just move on to our next short topic. Pass holder news. So this topic is going to be ridiculously short, as I literally have one update and it's not even a huge one. This week we got a preview of the ULAP November button. This one is themed to Harry Potter, and it looks pretty cool. So if you like the buttons, or you're a Potterhead, make sure to pick this up when it becomes available in November. Yes, this topic is that short. But let's break the streak of short topics with what is actually my second largest topic for this week. Uni's new merchandise. So let's start with the things that everyone can buy. Uni has continued the mass updates to their online store that they started last week, with adding this week tons of Halloween Horror Nights merchandise, an entire line of women's clothing apparel, some retro marquee items that include a plush bear, keychains, and pins and buttons set, a Love is Universal plush bear, Universal globe and snow globes and keychains, and Betty Boop scarves. The store also added some Back to the Future items that include tumblers, mugs, and hats. So that's it for the online store, but going into the parks, we can see Universal trying to get rid of all of their spooky items before the season is over. In the Tribute store, select HHN merch was for sale for 30% off this week. And across the parks, all of the Halloween Horror Nights masks were also being sold for 30% off their original price. And while on the topic of sales, we can look in the Hello Kitty store. Certain Hello Kitty Christmas ornaments were buy one, get one half off this week. This sale will most likely continue into next week, so get one while you still can. But let's get back to the spooky items with some new things to scare you. In the phone case kiosks, new prints for Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and the Wolfman have appeared and can now be used to make phone cases. And in the Tribute store, new Beetlejuice costume masks are now available. Going on with new things is a new cup that doesn't follow the Halloween theme. A new retro marquee tumbler has made its debut, looking as swag as ever. And I might as well keep talking about random new stuff, so take a look at these 3D mini kits that Universal now sells. These look like a lot of fun to build. So that's it for new merch, but another significant thing that happened in the realm of stores this weekend. The Williams of Hollywood prop shop reopened for the 2 weekend days, and they sold a variety of props and items from past Universal events that include Halloween Horror Nights and Christmas events. They also just had props from the rides on normal operation too, though. So that's it, all of the Prime updates that I found in Universal Orlando this week. But I find small things too, and although I only found one small thing this week, what small thing did I find? Well, my one update this week is that outside the currently closed Crescent Moon Bakery, some tables and chairs have been set up. And although none has been said of what this could, has been said as of now, this could mean that we could be seeing this bakery reopening soon, sometime in the future. So that's it for this week. Thank you all so much for watching my crazy and more than likely useless update video. Your views and likes really mean the world to me. Anyways, I had a lot of fun making this video, and I hope you had just as much fun watching it. And with all of that said and done, this is Wunu, signing off.